Hey guys, how's it digging? It's the Nerdy Movie Guy. So today I want to talk about sort of this horror adjacent movie that I kind of found on my own and I gave it a shot and it was actually really, really cool. It has a lot of horror elements, but it's not a scary movie per se. So we got right here Marrowbone. So this actually has a pretty good cast and this one's pretty interesting because the premise is sort of different but also familiar. So basically, the way I would describe it is you have George McKay. He's got his character in the movie, Jack. Jack's got three siblings, and in the beginning of the movie, those four siblings and their mother move, to America to get away from their father, and basically they're all on the run from him. And why and how and for what, that all that's explained later on in the movie. But that's the premise you get in the beginning. And I believe it's in the trailer. So if it's not in the trailer, I apologize, because this will be just sort of a small spoiler. But it's toward the beginning, and it just sets up the rest of the movie, is their mother dies of, they don't say what. She passes. She's sick, she's ill, they can't afford medicine, she dies. And basically these kids, they're not adults yet. And Jack, he's got just, I think they said 1 or 2 years until he can, until he can basically adopt his siblings. And that way they're not put in the system. So he's trying to do everything in his power to sort of keep them in the house, keep them hidden, away from everyone, away from the world, so no one knows where they are, so no one can take them away from him. He needs his siblings. And in this movie, we also have Kyle Sauter. He's in this movie. He plays sort of the guy tempting to break them up. And he actually plays Cyril in Star Wars Andor. So if you're a fan of Andor, you'll like, you can appreciate his acting. I did. And I thought his character in this movie was pretty neat. He had a small role, but it was pretty neat. And so basically in this movie, there's just plot twists sort of left and right. You find out eventually. Also, toward the beginning, I'm just going to put spoiler warning on this video. You find out that their father eventually found this house. He gets a shot off, then cuts to black. Time skip. Everyone's still there. You have no idea what happened. All this is unraveled toward the end of the movie. Of what happened with the father, why they're running in the first place, what's going on with their siblings. Just sort of everything is slowly building toward this big climax, really. Everything just sort of gut punches you in the end, sort of all at once, over and over again. And it's a rapid fire plot twist toward the end. And I think that's why I was engaged in this movie, is the story kept building and building and building. And the last, I think, 20-25 minutes was just extremely solid, because that's when everything is unraveled. That's when you're learning about each part of the story, you're learning more about the characters, and you're learning about where this movie is headed and how it's going to end. The sort of the gist that you get of how the finale will be is explained closer and closer you get to it. So this movie just keeps you entertained through and through. The reason I say there are horror elements, it's sort of a creepy movie. There are pieces that sort of explain how it can be a horror adjacent movie. For example, in his house, it's dilapidated. There's no power, there's no lights, because they can't pay for it. And so anyway, there's this broken glass mirror that you find out how or why it was broke later on in the movie. But, they cover the sheet over the mirror, so they can't see anything looking back at them. And, throughout the movie, there are times where maybe there's a gust of wind and the blanket is knocked off the mirror. And they're afraid of this monster in the house or whatever. It's this entity. They don't really explain. They're just afraid of something. And so they want to cover up the mirror. So there are shots where they're slowly approaching the mirror to cover it again. And then as soon as they trying to cover it, they run away. So it's stuff like that. And the music just really builds the intensity as we get toward this stuff, or scenes like this. And it just sort of builds that sort of unsettling vibe that sits with you for the rest of the movie. And it's those elements, and it's this kind of a story, and it's the plot twists left and right that I think really make this extremely solid movie. Like I said, I wasn't scared watching this movie. It was definitely creepy, and it was very unsettling. The plot twists were great, the acting was great. All in all, I really enjoyed this through and through. So if you're looking for a horror adjacent movie but don't want to be scared out of your wits, I think this is a great medium. There's some really good acting in here. some neat character development across the board with all kinds of different characters. If you've heard about this one, I would give it a shot. I did, and I loved it. Thank you guys for tuning in.